I don't know why it feels so good to be right, but it really does feel good to be right in this situation. Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here today, my name is Audrey, and today we are feeling really dramatic and extremely vindicated because we are talking about the Loki finale, folks. It's here. 6 short weeks ago we started talking about Loki, and now the first season is over because we are confirmed for season 2, which we already knew about, but got further confirmation for the people who are not nerds like I am, and maybe you are if you're here watching this video. If you are new here, I would love for you to subscribe, even though Loki is over. The Marvel content and the content on my channel continues. We're going to actually have a lot of DC content soon, so if you do like DC, stay tuned for that as well. I do lots of videos on my channel. I also do beauty and vlogs predominantly, so stay tuned for that. I would love for you to subscribe, and if you like this video while you're watching, give it a thumbs up. Spoiler warning for the finale. Obviously, you're on this video. We're talking about the finale. It aired this morning. Stop this, put this on your watch later playlist, and then go watch that and then come back and talk to me about this. I want to say a massive suck it to everyone who was saying that Kang Gang was like the Mephisto. I don't know why it feels so good to be right, but it really does feel good to be right in this situation. Now, Marvel nerds, MCU, or comic aside, there's a lot of theories. Sometimes they're outlandish, sometimes they prove to be justified. I was worried that this was going to end with King Loki. When I saw, yes, if you didn't know, Kang the Conqueror is the villain of the series. We will talk a little bit more about Kang in a bit. I've talked about him pretty extensively on my channel, but I'm going to do a little bit more to talk about the MCU's version, anything that might be changing, and what this finale means. So, when I saw Jonathan Majors in that elevator, I screamed. I did. I screamed. I was so happy to be vindicated. After being on the Mephisto train, this feels like a breath of fresh air. This was more straightforward than the Mephisto theory. There was more evidence pointing towards this than Mephisto. The aspects in WandaVision that pointed to Mephisto were based on both Easter eggs as well as comic book history. If we know the MCU, if you are a comic book reader, you will know what I'm talking about. If you're not, if you're just in the MCU, then this might not apply to you, but if you're familiar with the comics, the MCU takes a lot of leeway when it comes to adapting comic books. Most are not comic accurate whatsoever. The MCU is just not super accurate towards anything in the comics, so take that what it is. It's been true that in recent years, stuff with the MCU has changed the comics as well. We do see some changes with the Guardians of the Galaxy. We do see some changes predominantly with like Nick Fury. So we see that happen, but overall they don't adapt things very accurately. So the comic book that, one of the comic books that WandaVision was based on, Mephisto is the ultimate villain, and with the presence of Agatha Harkness, it seemed like they were going in that direction, since in the comics, she is an agent of Mephisto. But with this, there were a lot of Easter eggs that were pointing towards Kang overall. So the idea to have Ravonna Renslayer, although we do find out in this that she did not know Kang at this point in time, Ravonna Renslayer is a love interest for Kang the Conqueror throughout time. She fights alongside him. She's within these comic runs. We know, unlike Mephisto, we knew Kang the Conqueror is coming in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which we know Kang the Conqueror is a time-traveling villain, so it would make sense that a show that is about time and the timelines and time travel would have Kang in it. Also, there was the Avengers Tower, which was Kang Enterprises, which is Kang's company, one of the versions of Kang. So there were lots of other Easter eggs. I mean, things that were set offhand. The fact that people thought that the middle timekeeper looked like Kang the Conqueror, looked like Jonathan Majors and all that sort of thing. There was a lot of evidence, so I am happy that they were not just trying to subvert expectations, because that would have been really annoying. If it had been, I'm not sure if it had been anybody else, I would have been disappointed. Maybe if it was Miss Minutes, I would have been fine with that. We still have a lot of her to learn, because she is seemingly the only one who knows about Kang, who is referred to as He Who Remains, which is a different character from the comics, but they just made it one character. If it was another version of Loki, I would have been mad, which points also to the fact that there was fake footage in the trailer. God bless. They thought that this reveal was such a big deal that they put fake trailer footage in it. I kind of love when they do that. It kind of makes me happy that they had to go to the length to film footage and then put it in, and then it not be. It's possible that there was deleted scenes, but there was a King Loki in the trailer footage for the final episode and for the original at the beginning of the series. So it's possible this was a deleted scene that was just going to show him and Sylvie what it would look like if they had taken a place in the timeline. So I'm going to go over Kang a little bit again. So Kang is played by Jonathan Majors. He was in lots of things. I saw him first in Da 5 Bloods, which was the movie by Spike Lee. It was one of Chadwick Boseman's last performances. He was in that film. He's also pretty much predominantly known for Lovecraft Country. So he was a lead in Lovecraft Country. He was cast as Kang back during the Marvel Expo, the Disney Marvel Expo. So he was announced. He was cast a while ago. I figured that was the case. I think maybe they announced him in Ant-Man and the Wasp just to maybe throw people off base that he would be appearing in Loki, but that didn't do a very good chance. Or just in case something leaked that it wouldn't have been known. That being said, they kept him under wraps pretty well, because most people, unless you were a comic book nerd, were not expecting Jonathan Majors to appear in this. Somebody did ask him point blank, and he played coy, so that tends to be a indication that he is in it, which he was, so that's great. He was very kooky in this one. He was alone a lot of the time. So this version of Kang is Immortus. There are many versions of Kang. He never specifically says he is Kang the Conqueror, because that is going to be an ultimate different version of himself. He talks about the fact that there are multiple versions of himself, multiple variants of himself, and that he defeated the others and erased the other timelines, creating one timeline after the multiversal war. So the multiversal war was accurate, it just was a little bit different than the TVA propaganda made it out to be. Immortus, or Kang, whatever you want to call him, I'm not sure how this is going to be not complicated by the way I'm phrasing this. So this version of Kang warns that there are two choices. You can kill him, and then other versions of himself that are worse will appear, a la Kang the Conqueror. Or Loki and Sylvie could take over, and he can go do whatever he wants. So I thought maybe they would go this route, but it ends up that Sylvie does kill this version of Kang, or Immortus. How very immortal are you there? You're not really He Who Remains then. However, we come to find out that at the end of the episode, everything was reset and Kang is in control. So no matter what happens, Kang's gonna be the one in control. So Sylvie really done messed up right here, because the version that takes over after they kill the Immortus version is the version of Kang the Conqueror we're going to see. Now, there are many versions of Kang the Conqueror. It's like that Loki variant episode that I did. So we have the Ramatut version where he was literally a pharaoh. We have the Immortus version, which is the one that we see in this episode. We have Nathaniel Richards, who is, I also believe, the same version of the one that we see in this, because he does talk about he is from the year 3000 something, and he's a scientist, which is the plot of Nathaniel Richards. So there's a lot of versions of Kang, and we see about 5 or 6 of them fight each other, but it's theoretically an infinite amount. I mean, I'm not a big person in theoretical physics when we talk about the clauses of infinite realities, but it showed about 5 of them. So Sylvie unleashes the big bad Kang the Conqueror. Now, Kang the Conqueror does exactly what it sounds like he does. He conquers. So this version, Mortis, he kind of conquered a little bit. I think he more so like fought off. Kang the Conqueror is like, I'm gonna take over everything. I care about this not for peace. This is about I'm the boss. I'm so cool. That sort of thing. So get ready for him. I don't really know what Ant-Man and the Wasp are supposed to do about this guy, because I don't know. I don't even think that it's possible that we can defeat Kang in Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think it's quite possible that he is just going to be a more ever-present villain. What I would really love from Marvel, from the MCU, is to have these villains be a big part of multiple films. Now, we see Thanos was teased and he was in Guardians of the Galaxy and he's in this stuff. But he's only really in 2 films, and it's like he succeeds in one and then he's defeated in the next. If we have Kang the Conqueror just keep showing up, like a comic book where these villains are not just defeated in one film, I understand in a film structure they're structured that way. 3rd act, it's supposed to be the hero needs to defeat the villain. However, like, if we have it be this long-standing villain, rather than, alright, I fight little villain A, and then I fight little villain B, and then I make 15 movies, and then I fight a big villain. I want to see Kang for multiple films. I think that would be really cool. Even if it's different versions of Kang, they can kill one and then another Kang pops up. That would be pretty awesome. I would really love that. Now, I think they went with the He Who Remains title, maybe as to that would be a little less confusing if I had referred to him as that. Because no matter what, Kang is always going to be the one who comes out on top. Like, it is predicted that way. No matter what timeline is the sacred timeline, no matter what, that's what we're going to be doing. So we're going to see a lot of multiverse stuff happen. Worlds are going to be colliding as Kang takes them over and just assimilates them into his domain. So this is not going to be a situation where it's going to be one timeline. It's going to be a multiverse, which we were like, I think on episode 2 or 3, I was like, this is the multiverse. No, they ended up getting that under control. But now we're for real. This is the multiverse. So this and Wanda's meddling in the Darkhold is going to really mess things up for Doctor Strange in Multiverse of Madness. So that is going to be a disaster for him, as well as in Spider-Man No Way Home, which I think this is why they were holding off on the trailer for that, because it would be the best way to explain the multiverse that is happening. So yes, there will be a multiverse. There will be multiple versions of the same people. I do think at this point there's a very strong chance we are seeing both Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in this version of Spider-Man. I will be doing some videos on Spider-Man. I have some theories on how we can still even get a long-awaited Spider-Man 4 for the Tobey fans. Let me know if you'd want to hear those thoughts. I will do a video on it. The thing that was the saddest for me is that Mobius does not know who Loki is. So what happened when Sylvie killed He Who Remains? So we know that Kang ends up taking over. The worst version of Kang, the Conqueror version of Kang, takes over the multiverse. I don't even say the TVA, he takes over the multiverse. It seems that everybody is reset. Nobody knows that they're variants anymore. They know that there's a bunch of branch timelines, but trying to figure out what is going on. So Loki goes, he's like, this is what happened, blah, 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 he remains, and Mobius is like, who are you, what is going on? Yikes, guys. I am so sad. I'm like, no, Mobius and Loki are bros, and Mobius was just relieved of all of this stuff, and Hunter B-15 was just relieved of all of this, so what's going on? So, yikes, y'all. It seems like they were just reset, like re-brainwashed and stuff that's happening, because unlike the logic of timelines that was presented earlier, now it's not like they're just creating a new branch. It's like the entire thing is a new timeline. They're in a new timeline at this point. So that's why they're just wiped. They don't know what's going on. I don't know if that means that everybody else is in the same way, or if that's just a TBA thing. If everybody else is in the same way, I mean, maybe Peter Parker's off the hook from murdering Mysterio. There are too many people with that name. I literally, my head was like, Mephisto? No. Magneto? No. That was really pretty much. See, when you have too much comic book content, your brain sometimes goes into override, so that's a warning to you. I will share all my information with you, so hopefully you don't get the same brain rot that I experience on the daily, but that's where that is. So, lots of stuff here. We also do there's another few things I want to note. Ravonna Renslayer said, peace dog, I'm out. We do see the variant version of Ravonna, who is a principal at the Franklin Roosevelt High School that she had a pen for. We do see that she goes off, she packs her bag and she's like, bye y'all, seemingly to team up with Kang. They're gonna have a little romance, little villain romance, cute, along the line of gross. Yeah, the dreaded moment I was not waiting for was Sylvie and Loki kissed. I'm sorry. I really genuinely feel like they gave her the Sylvie name so that when they kissed it would be less weird. No, it's weird. It was not romantic. It was weird. I don't like that. Do not continue that BS in season 2. Gross. No. No way, folks. Miss Minutes can only be in one place at one time. Thought that was really interesting. She's a sentient little whatever she is. She was like, hey y'all, it's me. I'm here. Welcome to the Citadel. Let's go see he who remains. And then she also like goes back to Ravonna and she's like, just downloading those files. Sorry, I was doing something else. So she can only be in one place one time. I cannot wait to see more Kang, more Ravonna, and more Miss Minutes predominantly. Excited to see where Loki season 2 takes us. Really excited for what this means for Spider-Man, Multiverse of Madness, and Ant-Man and the Wasp. We got a lot of stuff going on there. Multiple versions of people. So we have the Darkhold, we have the multiverse with the timeline, and we have the quantum realm, which can also make you move through the timeline. So pretty cool. Lots of weird stuff coming. I hope they keep up the weirdness and stop with the small scale stuff all the time. Like, I want it to be weird, and let's get Marvel as weird as possible. Hashtag make MCU weird. Pass it along. Overall, really like this series. It was my favorite of the 3 we've had so far. So What If will be coming soon. I'm not going to do weekly videos for that. I'll be doing every other week for What If. I will let you know about Hawkeye. Hawkeye will most likely be weekly videos for that. So we should get a release date for that soon. Lots of stuff coming. I plan to wrap up Bad Batch, and when Titans ends, I will do an overall series recap of Titans. So, oh my god. I'm tired from talking. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I know there's some mixed feelings. Thank you so much for watching. And if you missed my Black Widow review, you can watch it back here. See you guys later. Bye.